If you are building on Azure and you need login, you will hit Microsoft Entra ID, the service formerly called Azure Active Directory, Azure AD. But there is a fork in the road that trips up a lot of developers. Are you authenticating your employees and internal apps, or are you authenticating millions of external customers who sign up themselves? Those are different products with different pricing and different code. In the next 5 minutes, I will compare Workforce Entra ID against Entra External ID, formerly Azure AD B2C, so you know which one to reach for and why. At its core, Entra ID is a multi-tenant cloud identity provider. Your organization gets a tenant, which is an isolated directory of users, groups, and application identities. It speaks the standards you already know, OAuth 2.0 for authorization and OpenID Connect, OIDC, for authentication. It is not a replacement for on-premises Active Directory running Kerberos and LDAP. It is a modern internet-facing identity service that issues tokens to apps over HTTPS. As a developer, you mostly interact with it through the Microsoft Identity Platform endpoints and the Microsoft Authentication Library, MSAL. Whichever product you pick, the mechanics are similar. First, you create an app registration, which gives your application a client ID and defines its redirect URIs and the permissions it requests. At runtime, your app redirects the user to the authorized endpoint, the user signs in, and Entra returns an authorization code. Your app exchanges that code at the token endpoint for an ID token, which proves who the user is, and an access token, which is a JWT you send to your API. Your API validates the token's signature, issuer, and audience before trusting it. That handshake is the same pattern across both products. Workforce Entra ID is built for the people inside your organization and your business partners. It gives you single sign-on across Microsoft 365 and thousands of SaaS apps, conditional access policies, multi-factor authentication, and group-based and role-based access control out of the box. Guest access through B2B collaboration lets you invite users from other tenants without managing their passwords. If you are building internal line of business apps, admin portals, or anything that calls Microsoft Graph, this is your home. Licensing typically rides on existing Microsoft 365 or Entra Premium plans your company already pays for. Entra External ID, which evolves the older Azure AD B2C, is built for consumer and business customer apps where users register themselves. It supports social logins like Google and Facebook, local email and password accounts, and fully customizable sign-up and sign-in pages branded as your product, not Microsoft. It scales to millions of identities in a separate directory that you do not want polluting your corporate tenant. Pricing is consumption based on monthly active users with a generous free tier, so it fits public-facing apps where you cannot predict volume. This is what you reach for in customer-facing web and mobile products. Here is the crisp rule of thumb. Use Workforce Entra ID when the users are employees, contractors, or partners you can govern, and when you want conditional access and Microsoft Graph integration. Use External ID when users are anonymous members of the public who self-register and you need a branded, scalable consumer experience. Do not put customers in your corporate tenant just because it is convenient. You will mix governance models and inflate licensing. And do not stand up External ID for a handful of internal admins, because you lose the rich workforce controls. Match the directory to who is actually logging in. Regardless of which you choose, a few things bite developers. Always validate the access token's audience and issuer on your API. Never trust a token just because it is signed. Request only the scopes you need. And remember that delegated permissions act on behalf of a user, while application permissions act as the app itself with no user present. Never embed a client secret in a single-page app or mobile app. Those are public clients and must use the authorization code flow with PKCE tokens expire. So use refresh tokens and MSAL's silent acquisition rather than reprompting users. So to recap, Entra ID is a standards-based identity platform speaking OAuth and OpenID Connect, and the real decision is who logs in. Workforce Entra ID for governed internal and partner users, Entra External ID for self-registering customers. The token mechanics, app registrations, and validation rules are the same across both. Your concrete next step: Open the Microsoft Entra Admin Center, create an app registration in a test tenant, and wire up a sample app with MSAL to watch the token flow end to end. Because naming and pricing keep changing, confirm the current product names and per user costs in the Azure docs before you commit. If this helped, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. See you in the next video.